Welcome back, contractors. Clayton Miller here. Today we're going to be talking about the Makeover Renovations Process. This is the flow, if you will, from A to Z, from the first time we get a call from the client in need of a contractor, all the way up to the point where you guys are starting the project and the loan is closing. So what we're going to cover here is more or less timing and what we are letting the client know, what we are letting you know at different times to make sure that everybody's on the same page, communication is very high, and we get things done in a speedy manner. This whole process was designed to standardize the format so that each client is going to receive a similar look, a similar view, and a very similar experience as they work with their Makeover preferred contractor. We really want to take care of the client. Our goal here is to get them with a good contractor, get them a good bid, and get their project knocked out. So we want to make sure you guys are aware of all of the behind the scenes things going on, so you know that when we ask you for something, you know why you're getting it. Or when an email shows up or a text message shows up, you know why it's coming to you. So we're going to go over that entire process in this module and let you guys know how it works. The Makeover Renovations process has been dialed in. We've now had plenty of trial and error to figure out what it is our clients want and what it is the contractors are able to give us to make that communication and to make that introduction as nice and easy as possible. The Makeover Renovations process is a short, simple, nice and easy process that allows us to more or less get a good introduction sent your way and get a good contractor sent to the client. So in this module, we're going to go over all of those steps broken down bit by bit so you can learn exactly what's going on and why it's going on. So I know we went over this a little bit already in the first module when we talked about the Makeover Mortgage Process, summary as a whole. But I wanted to go into a little bit more depth. See, it turns out that a bunch of contractors out there are really interested in our financing ability because they often run into clients who maybe fall into one of these positions and they don't have the financing to pay for the job. However, if they are one of these clients, we can often help them get that financing and get that contractor another job. So, to talk about our clients one more time, the first one and the most common that we run into thus far is a new purchase or a new listing. So this can go one of two ways. This is going to be a single person, a couple, a family, whatever it might be, who's interested in purchasing a new home, and that new home needs a little bit of love, or maybe even a lot of love. This is the most common. It's kind of the HGTV model, if you've seen it. People walk around, look at houses that are done, they're overpriced, look at houses that are in need of reno, and are able to throw some money at those projects and turn those houses into exactly what they want. So that's our number one client at this point. Another good client is somebody who is selling their house or listing their house and just doesn't want to do any of the work. People all over the place have houses that need updated, but either can't do it, won't do it, or don't want to do the hassle, don't want to go through the hassle that it takes to work with subs to get their house put in proper shape. So sometimes we'll actually take a home, list it, and bring you in before we even show it to anybody. So we'll list it and get a renovation, cost and scope of work and bid based on the surroundings, almost like an investor flip model in some sense. And then when we sell that home, you meet with the client, the bid's already 90% done outside of picking colors and maybe changing a thing or two, and you move right on with your project. So those are our two most common clients that you're going to run into up to this point. The next one's going to be a renovation refinance here in the middle. And this is the one that you guys are going to run into with your current clients that could really benefit your pocket and your client's pocket. Let's say you run into a client who wants a new kitchen, they want a new bathroom, you hand them their bid, turns out that thing's going to cost $60,000. They're going with a really nice kitchen and a really nice bathroom. Well, they don't have a liquid $60,000 cash. However, they've been living in their home for 20 years. They've paid off a substantial amount of their mortgage, if not all of it. And all we have to do is tap into a little bit of that equity, get them a new mortgage, get you the cash you need, and roll right along. So these are folks that live in their current home. They've got a bit of equity saved up. They don't really want to move, and they just want to make some changes, whether that be updating, adding a garage, adding an entire addition, whatever it turns into. These guys live in their home, own their home, and they're going to use some of the equity within it. The next job that we get is a cash in hand job. Now, we have contractors that specialize in the renovation world, but we deem that as much more, or specialize in the renovation loan world, but we deem that as much more difficult than a cash job. Pretty much all contractors are willing to take a cash job. So if one comes our way, we'll by all means reach out to one of our contractors, shoot them your direction, get you connected, and then it's kind of business as usual. So these are our 3 clients, I guess 4 clients, that we run into more often than not. And this renovation refinance is a really good one for you to consider when you're working outside of the makeover space. If you run into a client that doesn't have the funding for it, we can potentially use the equity in their home to help them do it. Time to listen up, everybody. This is the most important page in all the modules in the entire course. This page talks about the most valuable principles, and right out of the gate, you're going to notice that communication is on here twice. So, if any of you guys have been doing renovation very long and working with contractors for a long time, what you've probably heard is that communication and speed are pretty much the deciding factor in most of the renovation jobs that you've won. At least I can say that on my end. The majority of clients I talk with are typically respond when I send them a bid or I call them back about checking out their property. They typically respond with, "Oh my gosh, I'm just glad somebody called back." Or, "Wow, this is the first bid that actually came through. We had 3 or 4 people tell us they were going to send us bids." I'm sure you guys have heard more or less the same thing along the way. So we want to really, really hammer home a couple points here. Communication, communication, communication is key. This whole entire process lives and dies with communication. Our goal and what we really, really task you guys with is to please communicate with not only the clients, but with us as well. We try to stay out of it for the most part. When we introduce you to a client, we then ask a couple follow-up questions to make sure certain milestones are getting reached. But outside of that, we try to stay out of your hair. But what we do really ask is that you follow up with your client. Communicate, communicate, communicate. I can't say it enough. Call them back, shoot them a text, shoot them an email. In today's world, people are very, very, very short-sighted when it comes to communication. When somebody shoots you a text or an email, rather than that meaning you have a day or 2 to respond, people want to see something now. The good news is it doesn't necessarily need to be the full answer. It can just be a, "Hey, I got your message. I'll get back to you shortly." Just a touch that lets them know that you're seeking that answer or trying to figure out what that problem might be. So number 1 for us is communicate. Number 2 is speed. Typically, our clients are purchasing a new home. They've got a purchase under contract, and that contract only gives them X amount of weeks to actually get that bid back and get it to the appraisal and through underwriting and all the above. So that being said, on our projects, speed is of the essence. When we introduce you to a contact, we need a phone call quickly to introduce yourself and at least get a time scheduled to walk their property. We don't necessarily need it to be scheduled tomorrow by any means, but within a week, we'd like to have that thing set up and ready to rumble. So when we make that intro, quick phone call to set up the appointment, and then within a week, you guys are walking that property to check it out. Once you check out that property, we'd like that bid to come back again within about a week. Maybe we can change depending on the overall scope and how it works. If we can communicate well and be quick, we're going to win 99% of the jobs that we send your guys' direction. Speed is huge. And I've already said communicate 13 times, but I'm going to say it again. Communicate, communicate, communicate. Deals are won and lost because a contractor communicated well or because a contractor didn't communicate well. Not only do we realize that most of our contractors win jobs because they communicated so well and so fast, but a large portion of our leads pop in because a client wasn't happy with the contractor that they were originally working with and they got fired. And more often than not, we hear the same thing over and over again. They came and they met with us, and then we never got a bid. We tried to follow up 2, 3, 4, 5 days later, and nothing, so we had to go somewhere else. Communication wins bids. So, most valuable principles here. Just wanted to reiterate, again, most important page in the entire training course is right here. If we can communicate really well with the client and with Makeover, and we can get these folks fast bids, the project's going to start, 45 days later. So we've got time to get ready for the project. But if we can communicate well and get them fast bids, get the appointment set up quickly, we will win these jobs, and you guys will have so much work you won't be able to handle it.